Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are opening up the hood of the human machine and asking a question that is, frankly, a little uncomfortable.
Okay.
Is your brain actually working for you, or is it working for the highest bidder?
That is a terrifying question. Because when you look at the stack of research we have today, and we're talking everything from fighter pilot tactics to, dating psychology, the answer seems to be that our operating system has some serious security flaws.
Security flaws is putting it politely. I mean, we're talking about why losing $20 just ruins your day, way more than finding $20 makes it.
Right.
Or why we chase people who ignore us, and why being 100% certain about anything is, well, it's actually a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and that's the strange part. We usually crave certainty. We want the guaranteed win, the sure thing.
Yeah.
But this whole diverse mix of sources we've got, marketing manuals, game theory, behavioral economics,
And philosophy of science, which is a heavy one.
exactly, they all kind of converge on this one single idea: certainty is a trap.
So the mission for this deep dive is to decode what we're calling human strategy. We want to figure out how to spot when we're being manipulated.
Whether that's by a brand or a bad date.
Right. And how to make better decisions when you have, no idea what's coming next.
It's about moving from being a passenger in your own life to being the pilot.
Speaking of pilots, we're definitely going to get to the famous ODL loop later, which is fascinating. But I want to start with a wallet.
Okay.
We have this source on 9 scarcity marketing tactics, and I think it explains why I impulsively bought concert tickets last week for a band I don't even like that much.
It's not just you, it's the scarcity principle. It is like the fundamental back door into the human brain. The basic rule is, if obstacles stand in the way of our desire just grows.
The source breaks this down into 3 categories. Scarce items feel exclusive, they appear more valuable because of, supply and demand.
Standard stuff.
And then, this was the weird one, they make the owner feel powerful.
Oh yeah, think about the Hermes Birkin bag. You can't just walk in and buy one. You have to be waitlisted, sometimes for years, just for the privilege of paying $10,000 or $20,000.
So the barrier is the value.
Exactly. If everyone had one, nobody would want one. The frustration is the point. It creates the power of ownership. It signals status.
And it's not just luxury goods.
Not at all. The source highlights the digital version of this, the countdown timer. Only 2 tickets left at this price.
Ugh, that triggers a very specific panic in me. Like my brain just shuts off and my credit card practically flies out of my pocket.
It's designed to. We actually have a definition here from a Dr. Dan Herman, who coined the term FOMO way back in 1996.
FOMO's that old.
Apparently. He defined it as a fearful attitude towards the possibility of failing to exhaust available opportunities.
Failing to exhaust available opportunities.
Wow, that sounds exhausting just to say.
It creates a compulsion. But to really understand why it works, we have to look at the behavioral economics source. And this brings us to prospect theory from Kahneman and Tversky. Okay, this is the heavy hitter of the stack. Break this down for us. What's the core mechanism here?
The core mechanism is something called loss aversion. And the math is just, it's brutal. Losses are psychologically 2 times as powerful.
Wait, say that again. So, scientifically speaking, the pain of losing $500 is double the pleasure of gaining $500.
Precisely. So when you see that countdown timer ticking down, your brain isn't thinking, oh, I might gain a ticket. It's thinking, I am about to lose this opportunity. You're not buying the product, you're paying to stop the pain of a potential loss.
This explains so much about gambling, too. The source mentions something called the disposition effect in finance.
Right, and this is where smart people lose a lot of money. The disposition effect is the tendency for investors to sell their winning stocks way too early.
Why?
Because they want to lock in the win. They crave the certainty that they were right. It feels good.
But they hold on to the losers.
Forever. Because to sell a losing stock is to admit the loss. It makes the pain real, so they hold on, hoping it'll bounce back, often until it goes to 0. They would literally rather risk total destruction than admit they were wrong.
That is wild. We are wired to sabotage ourselves just to avoid feeling wrong.
It shows up in insurance, too. The source points out that people overweight these low-probability events, like a house fire, and pay huge premiums.
But they'll underweight high-probability stuff, like dropping their phone.
Totally. We're just terrible at assessing risk because we are so emotional about loss.
We're going to come back to that inability to admit we're wrong. Because it turns out that destroys more than just portfolios. first, I want to pivot this strategy concept to something even messier than finance.
Oh, dating.
The high-stakes game of mating. We have a source here called the mating table base, and it treats love like a game of chess, or honestly, like a spy novel.
It's pretty cynical, but it's also weirdly effective. It starts with this biological concept called mate choice copying.
Which is basically social proof, but for attraction.
Kind of. The source notes that humans, and especially women in this context, often value a potential mate more if they see other women accepting that mate. It's an evolutionary shortcut.
Like, instead of vetting this guy from scratch, I can see he's already been pre-approved by others.
It's the bestseller sticker on a book. You just assume it's good. But the source gets really interesting when it talks about how people try to fake that value. It distinguishes between what it calls transactional pretense and radical transparency.
Transactional pretense sounds like every first date I went on in my 20s.
It's the fake it till you make it strategy, right? You rent the nice car, you wear the expensive watch, you act way more confident than you are, you're front-loading the resume.
That's the problem with that.
The problem, according to game theory, is that this strategy is highly vulnerable to black swan events.
Meaning, if you lose your job, the whole relationship implodes.
Right. If the relationship is built on the resource and the resource vanishes, the contract is void. And that's why the source argues for radical transparency and these strategic gambits.
This included the gold digger test. Now, usually when people hear that, they think it means, hiding your money or being stingy. But the source says something different.
Yeah, it's not about being stingy. It's about resource-based testing. The strategy is to offer high-status experiences that cost zero money.
Okay, can you give an example?
Sure, like getting into a VIP event because you know the organizer, not because you bought a table. Or knowing a secret hiking spot with an incredible view that implies you have an adventurous lifestyle.
So you're demonstrating social capital and competence.
Without spending financial capital. You are testing, are they into the source you or the resource your wallet?
It's a filter.
It's a filter. If they enjoy the hike and the conversation, they like the source. If they're annoyed you didn't go to a Michelin star restaurant, they wanted the resource.
That is a crucial distinction. But the flip side is, you have to be able to spot when someone is running a game on you. The source details specific body language tells to detect deception, especially when someone is faking empathy.
Oh, these were fascinating. The first one was the asymmetric shrug.
I tried this in the mirror. It looks ridiculous.
It's a classic lead. If you ask someone, are you okay with me going out with my friends tonight? And they say, yeah, totally fine, but one shoulder just pops up slightly.
The body is contradicting the mouth.
Exactly. It signals uncertainty or deception. If they were truly fine, the body language would be symmetrical and relaxed. A one-sided shrug is the body saying, I don't know, or I'm lying, while the mouth says yes.
And then there's the forehead furrow. This one seems hard to spot unless you're really looking.
It requires a little anatomy. You have this muscle, the corrugator supercilii, that furrows your brow. People use it to look concerned or empathetic. But if they furrow the brow, and the eyes, the orbicularis oculi, don't soften or crinkle.
It's a mask.
It's learned empathy, not felt empathy. They are performing the emotion because they know they should look sad, but the rest of the face just isn't playing along.
The last one was the delayed reaction.
Yeah, that's a timing issue. In genuine emotion, the gesture and the words happen almost at the same time. If someone says, I'm so happy for you, and then like a beat later they smile.
It's like a bad internet connection.
It's a cognitive lag. Their brain had to suppress their real reaction, which might be jealousy or disappointment, and then manually load the happy friend script. That little split-second delay is where the truth hides.
Okay, so we've got scarcity hacking our wallets, and we've got these signal games hacking our relationships. It feels like we're just constantly navigating a minefield of manipulation.
It can feel that way.
So I want to zoom out. How do we actually navigate this?
This brings us to, I think, the ultimate strategic framework in our stack, the ODA loop.
This comes from the military, right? Colonel John Boyd.
A legend,
Yeah.
the fighter pilot who changed the world. So
Okay.
the context is the Korean War. You have the U.S. F-86 Sabre versus the Russian MiG-15.
And on paper, the Russian plane was better.
Oh, much better. It was faster, it could climb higher, it could turn tighter. By all the traditional metrics, speed, power, altitude. The U.S. pilots should have been just slaughtered, but they weren't.
They weren't slaughtered at all.
They achieved a kill ratio of roughly 10.
There's a massive discrepancy. How did they do it?
Boyd analyzed it, and he found two design features in the American plane. a bubble canopy, and hydraulic controls.
Visibility and agility.
Exactly. The bubble canopy gave the pilots a wider field of view. They could see the enemy sooner. The hydraulics allowed them to transition from one maneuver to another way faster than the MiG pilots, who were wrestling with these heavy manual stick controls.
And this birthed the ODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act.
That's it. Boyd realized that dogfighting isn't about having the fastest plane, it's about having the fastest brain. If you can cycle through that loop, observe the change, orient to what it means, decide, and act faster than your opponent, you get inside their decision cycle.
So by the time the MiG pilot reacts to what you were doing, you're already doing something else.
He's reacting to the past. You are living in the future. He becomes disoriented, he panics, he makes a mistake, and that's the kill.
Now, Boyd argued that the most critical step isn't the action, it's the orient phase.
Yes. Orientation is your worldview. It's your mental model. And this is where we link all the way back to that idea of certainty. If your orientation is rigid, if you think the enemy must be over there because that's where he was 5 seconds ago, and you refuse to update that model, you die.
This connects directly to the philosophy source we have on fallibilism from Oliver Scott Curry.
This is the superpower we mentioned at the start. Fallibilism is the acceptance that we can never be 100% certain.
Which sounds a bit depressing to some people. We can never really know anything.
It sounds pessimistic, but Curry argues it's actually the engine of progress. Science doesn't work because it claims absolute truth. It works because it champions ideas that survive testing. It's survival of the fittest for ideas. But to play that game, you have to be willing to kill your own bad ideas.
There is a heavy, heavy moment in the source material from Jacob Pronowski from his series, The Ascent of Man. He visits Auschwitz.
It's a devastating scene. He walks into a pond at Auschwitz where the ashes of some of his family members were flushed. And he stands there in the mud, and he delivers this profound warning.
What's the warning?
He says that tragedy doesn't come from uncertainty. It doesn't come from people saying, I might be wrong.
It comes from certainty.
It comes from, and this is his quote, arrogance and dogma based on ignorance. It comes from people thinking they have godlike certainty. When you believe you have the absolute truth, you justify absolute horrors to protect it.
He calls it the principle of tolerance.
Right. Just like Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in physics. Knowledge has to be precise, yes, but it is always confined within a tolerance of uncertainty.
So bringing this back to our mating table base of the ODA loop,
Right.
The person who thinks they are absolutely right is the one who's about to lose.
The Grandmaster isn't the person who is always right. It's the person who accepts they might be wrong. They update their Bayesian prior, their probability estimate, rather than protecting their ego. If you can't admit an error, you can't reorient your ODA loop. You're flying blind.
That's a huge concept. But I want to ground this for the listener. If we accept that we're fallible and we're navigating a world full of scarcity traps and signal games, how do we actually move forward on a Tuesday?
We have to make it easier to do the right thing. And this brings us to nudge theory.
Richard Taylor.
Right. If we know our brains are lazy, loss-averse, and easily manipulated, we can't just rely on willpower. We need to use choice architecture.
The examples in the source are so simple, but the data is just wild. Organ donation is the classic one.
It's the difference between opt-in and opt-out. In countries where you have to check a box to become a donor, the rates are super low. In countries where you are a donor by default and have to check a box to leave, rates are nearly 100%.
It's just the path of least resistance.
Exactly. Or the cafeteria example. Simply cutting up apples increase consumption by 50%.
Why? Because biting into a whole apple is hard.
It's friction. It's messy. It takes effort. We are cognitive misers. We want the easy win. So if you want to improve your life, eat better, save money, don't try to change your nature, change the friction, make the bad thing hard and the good thing easy.
But sometimes the path isn't clear enough to just nudge it. Especially for our listeners in their 20s. We have this source on the quarter-life crisis that I found really, really reassuring.
Oh, absolutely. I wish I'd read this 20 years ago. The source looks at these highly successful people, billionaires, icons, and shows just how lost they were in their 20s.
The list is wild. Steve Jobs dropped out, traveled India, experimented with psychedelics, he wasn't building iPhones, he was basically just wandering.
Mark Cuban was living in a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 other guys sleeping on the floor. He got fired from a software shop, tried to close his deal without his boss's permission. He was unemployed.
J.K. Rowling was a single mom, clinically depressed, writing in cafes because her flat was too cold to stay in.
And Elon Musk dropped out of Stanford after 2 days.
2 days.
2 days. But the lesson here connects all the way back to the ODA loop. These weren't wasted years. This was the observe and orient phase.
That is such a helpful reframe. It was data gathering.
Exactly. You can't decide and act effectively until you've gathered the data. If you treat your 20s, or really any transition period in life, as a data gathering phase, it takes the pressure off. You aren't failing, you are orienting.
The source offers a specific formula for happiness during this time that I love. It says, don't look for one single passion. Look for a project-based purpose.
I like that. It breaks it down. Happiness equals like seeing a friend once a week, plus working out, plus a side project. It's manageable. It's a nudge for your own sanity.
It's surprisingly practical. It's about small, strategic adjustments rather than finding some grand truth.
And that brings us full circle.
It really does. Wow. We covered a lot of ground today. We started with scarcity, how our brain wants what it can't have.
We looked at the mating game and how transactional pretense, faking it, is a weak strategy compared to transparency.
We broke down the O'Day loop, proving that agility and visibility beat raw power.
And we landed on fallibilism.
Right.
The idea that the strongest position you can hold is admitting you don't know everything.
It seems like the common theme here is adaptability.
Adaptability and humility. The person who gets caught in the scarcity trap is rigid. They must have that bag. The person who fails the gold digger test is rigid. They need the resource, not the person.
And the pilot who gets shot down is rigid. They stick to the plan instead of reacting to what's happening.
Exactly. And the person who thrives is the one who says, I might be wrong. Let me look at the data.
So the grandmaster of life isn't the person who projects total certainty.
No, it's the person who can spot their own errors the fastest and reorient their loop.
That is a fantastic takeaway. Being wrong isn't failing. It's just new data.
It's just new data.
I want to leave everyone with a thought based on that Bernowski moment at the pond. It's a heavy question, but I think it's a necessary one.
A question of certainty.
Right. Where in your life are you insisting on absolute certainty? And how might that dogma, whether it's about your career, your relationship, or your own self-worth, be blinding you to a better reality?
Or a deeper connection.
Something to mull over. Thanks for diving up with us.
Always a pleasure.